Hey guys, this is Phil from the Retro Games News. It's the first video I'm going to do for the new YouTube channel. So excuse me if I'm fumbling around a little bit here. I wanted to review Airwolf, the Spectrum version, which came out around 1985 from the software house Elite. I actually had Airwolf on the Commodore 64, which was in essence a completely different game. Although in both you're trying to rescue the scientists. The Spectrum is more of a kind of a flip screen affair, whereas the Commodore was all kind of scrolling within one large kind of labyrinth. I have to say, as time's gone on, I still prefer to play the Spectrum game. I think it's lasted and stood the test of time a little bit better. So that's what we're going to look at now. Now this game is still pretty tricky to play. Hopefully I can make it look relatively easy, but that's simply because I've been playing it for about probably 20 odd years or something. There's a few little glitches in the game to be aware of as well, like that wall that I've just shot through. If you actually get too close to it when you try and shoot, you'll actually find that the bullets won't actually fire. And if you also shoot the wall while it replenishes, you get a nasty little block which you can then not actually shoot away, so you have to just sacrifice a life and start again. Now the key to playing this game is playing it so many times that you get to learn the exact position you need to be on when you enter the next room. Otherwise you end up being shot by a stray bullet or even a radar of some description. A lot of people here, they would stop at that point, but actually if you just keep going, as you saw, the bullet doesn't have time to fire. And that block that I've just shot, that will actually deactivate something a little bit later on in the game, or in fact I think it might even open a wall. Now another little tip is, rather than starting to try and go down through that section there, if you leave the room and then go back down again, it means if I happen to die while attempting to shoot this wall out, I will actually regenerate on this part of the screen rather than having to fly over that shooting gun to the right there. Okay. Oh! Then he got shot up the backside. Now it's a little bit frustrating. I always found this was probably the toughest part. Once you got past this little section, you could then quite happily sail through towards the end of the level. Oh dear. Now of course while I'm on film I'm not going to be able to... I'm going to blow this. Now you might be able to hear the music in the background. Of course that's the actual TV theme tune. I thought I'd spare you the bleeps of the Spectrum. Okay. Now what I did like about the Spectrum over the 64 is, because everything is pretty much pixel perfect, they could afford to really put you in some tight situations, of which this is no exception. Now there's two ways of doing this. You can either try and hover in between the laser and the bullet, yeah, like so, or you could just make a break for it, but sometimes when the going's good, just keep going. Right, so now we should find that thing that I shot there has dropped down the wall. Now this is the next kind of tricky bit, because you've got a very small gap to get through, and if I get too close to the wall on the right, when I turn round my tail will actually crash into the wall. And another thing, as you saw, you've only got a few seconds before that big ass laser fires. Now that's probably about as big a gap as I can make, so I now just have to be really accurate and try and squeeze through. Oh, just about. Oh no! Oh, that was stupid of me. Not being patient there. So there's the scientist, and I do believe there's 6 that I have to rescue. So once I've actually picked this dude up, I'll then have to fly back to base and then repeat the whole thing 6 times. Now I'm not sure. Ah, dear. I think if I got close enough, I can then actually pick him up. But anyway, I think you get the idea. That was pretty much most of the first level. You take that guy back, repeat that 6 times, and I believe that's the end of the game. But I think the most I've ever got back home was 2 or 3. It's a rock hard game. but like I say, still good fun to play. Very nice graphics and good use of colour as well. Quite often on the Spectrum they would be a bit shy of using too many colours because of it would sort of bleed into the background. But excellent game, stood the test of time. I'm going to give this one a very healthy 92%. For last ability, you know, I think you'd have to give it much higher than that, simply because I'm still quite happily playing it here today, a good 20 odd years on. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.